Hello, my name is Kai, and I am a bit of a rambler. Just a little rambling update. So let's ramble on. I like Muslim countries because of this one little quirk. I mean, this isn't the whole reason. I've loved Malaysia and Morocco and Indonesia. But in each one, it's always really easy. This is like just a silver line, like a little side thing that's always nice in a Muslim country. For some reason, they always have hypoallergenic tissues available. And so many countries have scented tissues available or non hypoallergenic sundries in their stores. And all three Muslim countries, I think it's only three majority Muslim countries, I've been to, make a point of having hypoallergenic paper products. I don't know, I can find them in Southeast Asia. Usually, I mean, in Thailand, I can find them because they have a lot of hypoallergenic stuff. They have a whole range of healthy alternatives to mainstream products. But even if there's not a huge selection of sundry items like in Morocco or Malaysia or Indonesia, there's always a hypoallergenic alternative, which I like. I don't like scented things in general, so I don't know, it always sticks out to me. And I just came to Indonesia, and it's the third Muslim majority country I've been to with the calls of prayer going off. And there was no paper in the house I rented, so I figured I'd go get some. And the first thing I saw was a big pack of hypoallergenic tissues again. I was like, there you go, perfect. Just a little note. I'll end on the big fun one. But I went to all you can eat sushi, which was super effing tasty. I was very surprised at the quality of the sushi, and I was gonna go in the beginning, but it's so hot and there was so much to explore and there's such good food around me here that I didn't end up going to the all you can eat sushi, but I kind of wish I did because the carpaccio and other sashimi, you can get all you can eat sashimi actually. So I got the premium package for $13, I think it was something like that. And it was so worth it. I had a lot of tasty sashimi in, I don't know, 6 or 8 varieties, and then a whole bunch of other fun stuff for fun. And it was super, super good. Like, the fish was fresh, and the texture was good, and the accompanying sauces in the variations of the sashimi they had were fun and tasty. It was great. It was a really fun time, and if I come back to Indonesia, I will go to another sushi buffet. This one was called Sushi Yay, with an exclamation point after the yay. I slept for 2 hours. Oh, I see. So I'm in Indonesia, which is a dry country, so I'm not drinking alcohol while I'm here, and obviously my body is feeling healthier and all that kind of stuff. But there was one day that I was, I think, studying Duolingo and working on the podcast and just doing stuff, and I didn't end up sleeping until 3:30 a.m., something like that. And then I woke up at 5 or 5:30, and then I was fine, and I just kept working. So I don't know if every now and then I can get away with 2 hours of sleep. But yeah, that was strange enough and interesting enough just to note so that I could talk about it here, I guess. Benny and the Jets. I'm not super into Elton John in general, and his obvious hits are good, like Tiny Dancer and what Daniel, Your Song. I can see why those songs are good. I still don't connect really with a lot of his other songs, but I did finally watch the music video for Benny and the Jets, which is amazing. Is a top tier for music videos that I like. I like dancing and I like creative expression and individuality, and it's like 8 artists, I guess dancers dance artists, I was going to say. That seems accurate. It's like 8 dance artists dancing to the Benny and the Jets song, and Elton's, I don't know, not in it that I see anyway at all. And it's all different kinds of dancing. I guess what we would call modern versus there's ballet in it. There's I don't know, there's a bunch of stuff I can't identify. And everyone's dressed up in really cool, like wild out of this world 80s costumes, and it's all in black and white. So the video is perfect. It looks so good. And the song is good because in the video it's ostensibly about Benny and the Jets, this troupe of mystical, whimsical dancers. I probably watched it like 5 times in a row, entranced, because it's exactly all the stuff I like, but more so, I was like, wait, how have I never even heard of this music video, let alone seen it? This is, 40 years old now, and I've never heard of the Benny and the Jets music video. In passing references, if someone's writing an article about Elton John, they'll say, his hits, Benny and the Jets, and blah, 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 blah. But I don't think I've ever heard mention any of his music videos. And if any, and this music video, I don't think I've seen it on any list of top 100 music videos, whatever. If I did, I certainly didn't notice but if I heard Elton John's Benny and the Jets music video was on the top 100 best music videos, which I've watched playlists of those before on YouTube, and I've read articles of different top 100. I feel like it would have jumped out at me and I would have noticed. It's an absolutely stunning display of dance performance. It's so much fun and has made the song for me so much better. I'm totally into Benny and the Jets now. If that's what it's really about, too, like a hyper realistic dance troupe, that's fantastic. But I like the song more anyway, and I just want to get this out because I asked everyone I knew that I talked to regularly, and nobody has ever seen Benny and the Jets music video or heard of it. And it's so extremely unique and striking. It just seems crazy to me that nobody I know has ever heard of it. I have to find someone who's really into music and see if they have actually watched the video or if they know about the music video. Maybe it's just a fluke that the people I've asked so far also have never heard of this music video or seen it. If you haven't heard about it, or you didn't know there was an Elton John Benny and the Jets music video like I did, even if you don't like Elton John, and even if you don't like Benny and the Jets, which I didn't really like, it was one of his least interesting hits to me. I like the melody, I guess, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a huge Elton John fan in general. I feel like if you're interested in fun, unique music videos at all, this might change your experience of that song. It has completely flipped it on its head for me. I have Benny and the Jets on my phone now, along with a few Elton John hits, because anyone that could be associated with a music video that original and creative and fun, I like a little bit more as an artist. It's a stunning music video, and go check it out. If you've watched it 100 times already, go watch it one more time. You're not going to regret it. He just seems like such a sedate performer, very enthusiastic about his music in particular, but in general, he has a lot of ballads. He's mostly ballads, and it just doesn't seem... The energy of Elton John's music doesn't seem as dynamic and vibrant as this music video turned out to be for me. I'm so glad I stumbled across it. Okay, let's move on to beef jerky, one of my passions. So I've been making a bunch of beef jerky in Indonesia because they have a great freezer section of frozen different cuts of meat. And I've never tried using knuckle, which is also known as sirloin tips, I think. But it's great for beef jerky because it's almost no fat on the entire thing. And it's a little tougher, so it's not popular with a lot of people, I guess. I don't understand. I would definitely cook with it. but it's perfect for jerky because it makes it so much easier. I'm not trimming any fat. I'm just cutting slabs of perfect raw steak. I am also still using the dry first method, which I think just beats out every other method I've ever used. Drying the meat first removes 3 days plus of drying time. It's so fast. And this time with the knuckle, I cut it even fatter and more like triangles, basically. I cut them really uneven and fat, but even the fattest parts of the meat, the really uneven cuts, they still dried out. The thinner parts obviously dried out first, but I don't have to worry as much as I used to worry about making all the cuts consistent and all that. If I'm close at all, I know now, it'll be fine. It'll still dry within 24 hours. And then after I dry it, I can throw it in my jerky marinade, which I think I haven't been putting enough brown sugar in, because this last batch I really liked it, and I decided to just put in double the amount of sugar I usually do into the soy sauce. The sugar here in Indonesia is really raw. It's really interesting. It's almost spicy. It's not spicy, but the brown sugar is such a strong flavor that I was putting less of it in than I think I used to. And now I put in a whole bunch, and the marinade tasted better, and the jerky tasted better for it. And I think you can put in the jerky for 1 to 2 hours, and that is enough time. You'll have the jerky marinated well enough that the flavor is on there and in the jerky. But I kept it in there for 3 or 4 hours this time, just to see what the difference was. And after I tried to feel it through the, like, while it was marinating, and it was getting a little softer hour by hour. And then I put it out and dried it, but there was a huge rainstorm right after I put it out. It knocked out the power, and so the jerky was just sitting there instead of actively drying from the airflow. And I didn't realize that until, I don't know exactly, because I'm not sure exactly when the power went out. I was walking around. But when I got back, the air wasn't on, the fan wasn't on, drying out the jerky. So it was wet, and then I turned it on, and it dried overnight, and it was okay. It was still pretty dry because I had completely dried it for 24 hours before that point. But what was really interesting was that the jerky was softer, like noticeably softer to bite through after it had sat there for a little while without drying, and then I dried it after that. So that might be another trick, but the problem with that is that I'm adding on for more hours, and then once it's softened, it takes longer to dry again. But I'm gonna look into that, because if I can also adjust the softness of the jerky, I mean, this drying the meat first, I can dry it in 12 hours if I just cut the meat thin enough. So I'm thinking if I cut the meat super thin, it'll be completely dry in 12 hours. I'll marinate it for 1 hour, and then when it's soft, I'll throw it on the fan for the second marinating session. Or I'll make it a little thicker, and then 18 hours will be the first drying session. But it might be worth it. It's already a 2 drying session. It's just usually 20 hours of the first drying session, marinate for a couple hours, dry in an hour, boom, done. Under 24 hours finished. But I think I can get it 24 hours finished, and maybe also control the softness of the jerky by how long I let it sit in the marinade, or sit after the marinade before drying it the second time. It's really interesting. It's fun experimenting with this, and each time I have a great batch of beef jerky to eat anyway. So go make some beef jerky, or pickled vegetables, or what else do people make? Kombucha. I really like making jerky, though. I might be making this a lot in the future. It's been a long time, and I'm not sure why I stopped making it, because I love it as much as I ever did. Okay, buffet hot pot. I went back to the buffet hot pot, or hot pot buffet here in Yogya. And the first 2 times I went, it was good, but there's so much fat on the cuts, it was not worth the trouble. So this time I went back and I got the premium the premium package. The original package is only $8, and then the premium package is $13, which is nothing to sneeze at. It's very expensive for the city, but it was worth it. I wanted to try all the premium cuts of meat, and it was very worth it for me because you have access to Wagyu, all of the cuts in the premium package, even the cuts in the medium package, which is only $1.70 more expensive, $15 instead of $13.50. I will get that one next time. But this time, the premium, it was fun to try everything, and it was good. Like, the Wagyu steak was amazing, and I actually asked a guy to bring me the two different Misuji cuts. There's Wagyu Misuji and then Uwa Misuji. And it looked like he was the general manager, but he mixed up the two when I asked him which one was Wagyu, because I ate one of the plates of the Misujis and I was like, holy crap, that's so good. It's so tender, but still so flavorful. And so I asked the manager, I was like, hey, which Misuji was which? And he told me, this is Wagyu, this is Uwa. But he was wrong because I asked the guy who brought out the meat after I ordered more Wagyu and Uwa Misuji, and I ordered more Uwa because the manager told me it was Uwa. But when the guy brought it out, I was like, oh, that looks different. And it turns out that was actually the Wagyu. And that's the one I wanted anyway. I just ordered the wrong one because the manager told me it was the wrong one. But then I just ordered from the waiters and waitresses and the actual meat cutter guys after that. And yeah, man, oh man, the sirloin tip. And when you're on the premium package, they'll just like cut off the fat for you. I asked them to do that because I don't like a ton of fat. And all the regular cuts have a lot of fat, like a third of the strip of beef is fat. But this time I tried the sirloin, and it was so much better than the meat had been when I paid for the regular packet. I was like, heck yeah. And I got a couple more of that, and then I tried these Misuji ones that didn't look as good in the picture, but were even better than the sirloin, which was good. So then I just got all of these Misujis. I got them with the sirloin the first time just to make sure, but yeah, the Misuji, Uwa and Wagyu Misuji were amazing, and by the end I was just getting Wagyu. Absolutely delicious. Very nice people who explained everything because it was a little confused. It made perfect sense. There were 3 tiers. You bought whichever one. And obviously my Indonesian is terrible, but they could understand what I was saying. And some of them even spoke English, so it was no problem communicating really if there was... Well, like a couple times I couldn't make myself understood, and then they just sent over someone who spoke great English. But most of the time I could say, like, Dua Wagyu Misuji? 2 Wagyu Misuji? That was fine. They knew what I was saying. And the mala was great also. You can choose 2 different broths, but I just got both mala. And at first, which if you don't know, mala is that super spicy red chili oil, numbs your tongue. Delicious for a hot pot. And they told me when they sat me down, everything's ready except the mala. We don't have any today. And I was like, oh no, because that's my favorite. It's really the only hot pot flavor I like. So I told them, I'm sorry, I'll probably just come back tomorrow then. And then she checked with the kitchen and she said, oh, it's not like we don't have it at all. They're preparing it now. So do you mind waiting? And I was like, yeah, no, I don't mind waiting at all. It's my favorite. So it is all you can eat, and I could just order as many of the premium stuff as I wanted. It lasts 90 minutes, which is a good amount of time for me to eat all the tasty Wagyu I wanted. And yeah, the hot pot was great, and the one that boiled down got super salty and thick, so I kind of used that as a secondary dipping sauce from the main hot pot half of the pot. It was really fun. And then there was a giant rainstorm that started up right before I finished my 90 minutes. So I went out and there was like 20 people waiting because the rain was pouring down. So I hung out with everyone else on the porch of the buffet place. But then after it started, it lessened a little bit. It was still coming down, but it wasn't as crazy. And I was feeling all amped up from the buffet, and I wanted to exercise. So I took off my shoes, because no shoes is normal in Southeast Asia, and I started jogging the, 8 kilometers, maybe 6 kilometers back to my hotel room. And I just jogged back in the rain, thunder cracking here and there, and then it felt super heavy again, and I took shelter under a roof. And I just did that jogging back to my house, and it was awesome. It was really fun and really great, and I had a great meal and then a great time exercising my way back. And all the, I love splashing in the water and I love being in rain, and the alleys are so thin here that some of the alleys were just completely flooded, and the monsoon rain was flowing down the alley that I was jogging in. It was really fun. So thumbs up to both the sushi buffet, Sushi Yay, and it was called kakoi, which means cool in Japan. Kakoi, Japanese hot pot and buffet. And it's actually hot pot and a grill for the same price, but I always just get the hot pot because grilling is too, I have to pay attention, really. And I don't like the dirty grill in front of me, so the hot pot is a little better for me, I think. And I love the mala sauce, so yeah, I want that. I have been running, as I mentioned. I've been running barefoot a lot lately, which I've really liked doing again. I haven't been in a country where it's comfortable to barefoot run recently, but Indonesia, well, at least my neighborhood, there is a great paved running track really close to me, like not even half a kilometer, super close, 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk max. And I can jog around a track. I'm probably going to go back there today. Barefoot on comfortable, clean tiles. That's the other nice thing about Muslim countries. They are pretty clean. I don't know if that has to do with not drinking especially, but I know that I personally am dirty and less responsible when I'm drinking. And it might just be that most of these countries are clean anyway. But the public spaces like this running track are so well maintained and taken care of. It's great. I've been barefoot running a lot more lately, and it's been really fun and obviously very healthy for me. Earthquakes. There have been a bunch of earthquakes. There's been like 3 or 4. There's not been a bunch, but I finally feel like I'm on the ring of fire. And there's so many volcanoes in Central South America. I thought I would really be getting it when I was there, and I think I did experience one quake while I was in one of the Central South American countries. I can't remember which one. But here, they've been noticeable, and one of them was, whoa, big. Not crazy. If it had been any bigger, I would have felt in danger. The whole house was certainly moving. Like, I could see everything shaking, and things fell down. It was pretty wild. So I'm glad I got to be in that, and that the building didn't completely collapse after it happened. It's been fun to be in earthquake country. But speaking of the roof not collapsing, outside, the roof did collapse. So my patio here, just last night, I woke up at like 2 a.m. because there was a loud crash crunch bump outside. And I went outside and I was like, what the heck was that? Looked out the window, didn't see anything. And then I opened up the door and my brain had to like check itself, like second look at what it was happening. And the roof of my patio had collapsed. And it's a vinyl like PLM laminate wood thing, like, but all one piece attached to the concrete roof of the patio with metal ties. But the metal ties were old, rusted, and snapped. And this is monsoon country, and the humidity is like 1,000%. And there's really strong wind. So these metal ties, they could have been there for a year and already corroded to the point that they were snapping off. But this is a pretty big piece of roofing. Even though it is plastic and not super heavy, it would be dangerous if it fell on an old person or a child. I haven't talked to the host at this particular listing. I always choose new listings on Airbnb just because they're usually a more fun experience. Like there's something the Airbnb host hasn't listed, or there'll usually be a bigger discount also for new places. Sometimes. This place I don't even think this was the cheapest place. I'm always curious about meeting the new Airbnb hosts and seeing how they do. And for over a decade, they've done really well. This one is so much trouble to talk to and interact with. And I just found out at the end of my stay here pretty much that the host I've been talking to, who's been very withholding and not helpful and just not providing information, isn't the owner of the place at all. It's just a marketing person that the owner hired to manage it, but terrible at answering my questions, terrible at dealing with the issues of the house. And I met the owner, but this marketing person had told me that the actual owner is the security guard for this place, and that if I had questions, I should ask the security guard to help me. But there's no one else on this property. It's just me. There's no security guard. There's no security guard booth. And I've never met the marketing person, and I never met the security guard or the owner of this place. That was like the 20th time I had just gotten a bad, unhelpful answer from this host. So I just stopped talking to them basically for the past 3 weeks. One time the electricity went out, or like the Wi-Fi went out, and I had to ask them, and it went back up later. But their answers are like, okay, or yes, that's usual, and nothing else. So this time, because the patio thing fell down, I contacted Airbnb, and they started talking to the host, who wasn't answering, and I just went back to bed, and I woke up, and the roof was still there, just fully collapsed, like broken in half over the light fixture. And then a couple hours later, someone came and took away the broken part of the roof. And it was structurally sound, the whole place. It was just that plastic siding that broke off with some metal pieces in it, like holding it together, that fell down off the ceiling of the patio. But I didn't get any messages from that marketing host, and I had to clarify with Airbnb because I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I called them up because I was like, do I contact the host, or this seems like big, it could be dangerous. Am I supposed to contact Airbnb first? So I contacted the host. When I got no answer, I contacted Airbnb. And that's what you're supposed to do. The Airbnb support, who's always helpful, clarified it for me, all of my questions. They're like, yeah, you did the right thing. Just contact the host. If they don't say anything, contact us. We'll contact them, or we'll fix it. And so neither of us could get in contact with the host until the morning. And before noon, someone had arrived to take away all the trash, or collapsed roof, I should say. It was pretty crazy that it happened at all. But monsoon season, high winds, crazy humidity. Okay, so then a guy showed up in a car, and that was Aris, who I've been told is a security guard, and he was like, you can move into a next place, in the place next door. But I'm leaving in a couple days, so I said, don't worry about it. I'm just going to not move because it's not worth the hassle of moving next door. The structure's intact. It was just the patio roof, so it's okay. And he was like, but it's cleaner. And I was like, oh, I get it, but it's okay because I have to move everything over there, and it's just not worth the move for me. He said, okay, and he started leaving. But then I went out and asked him because I was so confused about this host situation. And I asked, and he had never introduced himself either. I can't remember why. He came over one other time, and then this time. But both times, I was never introduced to him. And I was like, well, he can't be the security guard because he has his own car and he doesn't live here. It just didn't seem like that. I was so confused as to who was who, and I already had to write a review with negative things in it because there were so many issues with the house. I was already gonna do that before the patio roof collapsed. And I wanted to at least know who the owner was and if this was the security guard or not. So I went out again and waved him down before he drove away and asked him, hi, I'm Kai, who are you? And he introduced himself. He is not the security guard. He is the owner of the building. The marketing manager, who is the listed host on the Airbnb, for some reason just said he was the security guard. And I explained to him that I'd been asking the host of this Airbnb, the marketing manager he hired, many questions since I got here and was receiving none or very unhelpful answers, often not having to do with my question. At the listing information, she doesn't provide much information at all about the listing, and she was pretty combative whenever I asked her any questions. And he said, yeah, she has a lot of listings, so it's like, sometimes she doesn't know, which is not a satisfying answer for the guest. But at least I knew who he was and who she was and what was going on at all. I never met that marketing person who was the only listed host on this Airbnb. And I didn't meet the owner either until an issue happened with the house. I never met Citra the whole time I was here, and now I know why. She's just a remote marketing manager working somewhere remotely. I don't even know if she's in the city. I doubt it. And if that was all clear, things would have made sense. But when I asked questions like, well, how do I fix this then? Which usually a host offers, oh, the water smells like sulfur. I can send someone over to check it out. That's my almost 100% experience on Airbnb. Hosts maintaining their buildings. When I asked this host, who turned out to be a marketing person, about why the shower smelled like sulfur, she said, it usually smells like that. That's it, nothing else. And that was par for the course for all the answers I received from her, so like I said, I just stopped talking to her. And the owner seemed nice enough. I really like this neighborhood, and the house is pretty nice, but there are so many problems with it, and then the roof collapsed. I'm not going to give it 2 out of 5. I'm going to give it a 3, I think. Because 2, I didn't dislike being here. I loved the neighborhood especially, and I liked the peace and quiet, and I like the walls of the house. The walls of the house are nice. There's a kitchen, there's a shower, but there were so many problems with this place that I cannot give it a 4 at all. And even 3, I'm still debating, like, is that too much for a place where the door handles don't work and the roof collapses and the kitchen is dirty when you arrive? I don't know. Still, even this like probably worst host experience, the place is fine. Like, I mean, I like this place. I like this house itself, but the trouble with communicating with this host, who's just a marketing person, has made the whole experience less. If I had had an engaging, responsive host to my questions, even if they couldn't do anything about it, if I asked them about the sulfur water and they said, sorry, we have old filters and sometimes it smells like sulfur, perfectly safe to bathe in, which is true. If you ever have stinky smelling water, it's usually just this gas that builds up because there's bacteria in the filter, but it's perfectly safe to bathe in. If they had just answered me, that doesn't even bother me, because I've been in plenty of situations where the housing isn't great, but the host has just told me, yeah, that's where we're at. And that's fine. That really is completely fine to me. This marketing person just either doesn't answer or answers in a few words that do not help me out in understanding the situation or getting a timeline where anything is going to be fixed. Told her about all these problems, talked to the security guard. Doesn't tell me who the security guard is, doesn't tell me where they are, doesn't tell me how to contact them. She also said she's not on site, so she can't solve any of these problems. When the patio roof fell, she didn't answer me or Airbnb until the next morning, which makes sense. I assume the marketing person was sleeping. But she didn't answer me until 8 a.m. or something, and that's later than most people here get up, and this was a pretty big, the roof collapsed. And she said, okay, I'll talk to the owner. That's it. In response to, hey, the roof collapsed, here are pictures of the broken roof. There was no, sorry about the roof collapsing and we'll fix that, or we'll find a solution. She just said, okay, I'll talk to the owner. And then a couple hours later, someone picked up all the trash. And with all of that trouble, I still liked my month here. I loved living in this house, especially in this neighborhood. I met super cool people here in Yogyakarta. Yogyakarta itself is nice. I mean, I don't like the city because I don't like any cities really, but the neighborhood I'm in is great and beautiful and quiet, and there are great restaurants. And it's just been fun being in another country, a new country for me. Lots of good stuff. And I should add, this marketing manager is the only person I've met in the month I've been here who has not been nice or interesting to talk to and has been blatantly combative and withholding, recalcitrant. And on Airbnb, this has been my worst host, this marketing person, in well over a decade, and it's only happened once that it was this crazy. And even though this host was irritating to talk to and not helpful, and there were issues with the house, my stay was still nice. The kitchen has water, the shower does work, there's an outdoor patio in the front and back that I like. It's still a nice, clean house to live in. There were just a bunch of issues, and this host made things way more difficult than anything needed to be. I've been in dirtier houses with much nicer hosts who I just declined to give a review for because I don't want. Maybe they're having a bad week, or they don't seem like they do not care about their listing. But this host, this marketing person, told me to cancel the reservation twice, even though they accepted a non-refundable reservation. After I got here, they told me I shouldn't have booked the reservation, and then just really combative and weird. But that's the end of this. My roof collapsed, which is funny, but not dangerous. The structural body seems intact. I don't see any cracks anywhere, and the concrete walls are pretty thick here. It was pretty crazy to see the whole house moving with the earthquake. I hope you're having a great day. I'm having a good day. You can contact me at bitofarambler@gmail.com or bitofarambler on Lemmy or Blue Sky. I'll be here. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Oh, P.S. These Ramble On episodes, I really wanted to have them going on until I reach 100 episodes, and then I was gonna do once a week again, just with the main episodes, and do Ramble On when I felt like it every couple weeks or once a month or something as a roundup, because I want to start going backpacking again and just not have such a heavy schedule that I'm giving myself. So if you like listening to the Ramble On episodes, send me a message, let me know. Right now, I think I'm going to go to just main episodes and less frequent Ramble On episodes. All the main content will stay the same and it'll keep on going. I just want to maintain a schedule without having to be physically in front of a microphone for a new current events episode every week. But don't worry, there's tons of content to come. Thank you very much for listening. I will talk to you soon.